Gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back to MGTOW Money. Today, we're going to be discussing two contracts that you should avoid, two contracts you should not sign. And, well, it should go without saying, I'm not talking about marriage contracts. You should already know that, I hope. Before we get to that, though, this is MGTOW 2.0. This is the second wave of MGTOW. We are done discussing women. This is all about actionable, practical ideas on retiring early, on financial freedom, on you increasing your cash flow, on you increasing your options and choices in life. Because ultimately, that's what it's all about. If you're a MGTOW, you took that first step. Fantastic. But I presume you don't want to be a broke MGTOW. I presume you want to have increased options and choices in life. That's what this channel is dedicated to. With that said, today's topic, again, two contracts you've got to avoid signing. Let me, though, offer a few pointers regarding contracts before signing anything. Before you sign a piece of paper, napkin, etc., before you commit to anything, let me give you a few ideas. These are generalizations. I emphasize these are generalizations, but I think they will do you a tremendous service as they've done me. First of all, it goes without saying, know and understand fully the terms of the agreement of whatever you're about to sign. Make sure that you fully understand the monthly payments, interest rates, late fees, service charges, etc. If in any way, shape, or form you don't understand something seems out of whack, your intuitive feeling says, I'm not quite getting this, walk away. It should not be hard for you to spend money. That's been one of my mottos. It should not be hard to spend money. If I'm having a problem giving somebody money for something and I'm not sure about something, I'm walking away. I'll find another way to spend my money. I'll find another opportunity. I'll just give you a couple of real-life examples. First, what is it with so many students today who were coming out of college and even later going into their 30s who were saying just that? Well, I didn't know what I was signing for. That gets back to what I just said. You need to make sure you understand exactly what is going on in these situations, in particular when there's tens of thousands, if not even some cases, evidently with student loans, hundreds of thousands of dollars involved. In particular, let me give you the most important point of any contract that you should know. You need to fully understand this point of any contract before you sign. As a matter of fact, from my experience, this is the very first thing that I want to know about any contract. The very first thing that I ask is, what's my out clause? What's the penalty if I need to break this contract? For example, for many years, I lived in apartments. I moved from various cities, and I moved from apartment A to apartment B to apartment C. One of the first questions I would ask is, before I signed a lease, it was typically a 12-month lease. Unfortunately, I couldn't get them shorter, but I would always ask, though, and we'll get to that in just a minute, what's the out clause? How many months do I have to pay to get out of this agreement? Because I wanted to make sure that I had an out. I didn't want to be stuck. Or at least if I am going to be stuck, I want to know what the terms are to get out of it. This is critical. Absolutely critical. Know your out clause. Know your option B. A third thing that you've got to be very, very careful about, I think, is signing any agreements, any contracts that are beyond 12 months. Let me put it another way. The shorter the term the agreement, the better. If you can get a month-to-month agreement, you are much better off than if you get a 6-month agreement, just like you're better off with a 6-month agreement than on a 12-month agreement and so on. You want the shortest term possible before you sign anything. The shortest term possible. You can always re-up. I guarantee you, they'll always take your money. They'll always like it if you decide to renew with them. The point being, go for the shortest term possible of any agreement that you sign. Let's talk about the two specific contracts I recommend that you avoid. Number one, avoid automobile leases. It's some other people also call it a fleece, because it is a fleece, because effectively they are fleecing you. When you do an automobile lease, effectively you are renting that car. Just like you rent an apartment, you're renting a car. Or just like you're renting a house, you are renting a car. You will never own that car unless, of course, at the end of the lease, which is typically 36 months, you decide to buy out that lease. But unless you choose to do that, after 36 months, you're not going to own anything. So let me give you a real life example. I just happened to see a YouTube video. It was for a Cadillac of some type, and it mentioned it was only a monthly payment of about $359. And of course, I love that part, about $359. Of course, they're not going to tell you the taxes, fees, etc., that are inevitably guaranteed associated with it. So I just did some math here. Let's again, $359 is what they advertised. Let's just make it an even $400 with the taxes and the fees. That's probably a low figure, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. It's $400 a month. I'm going to add another $200 that you're going to have to spend for mandatory insurance, meaning that you're going to need collision insurance, you're going to need certain deductibles, etc. So you're looking at $600 a month for your car payment. Again, and your lease, again, 36 months, that's very typical. So at the end of 36 months, you've paid $21,600 to drive that car after 3 years. $21,000, and you own nothing is the right answer. You don't own anything. It doesn't sound like a very good deal to me, I can assure you. And as based upon some of the comments that I've seen here, where I did some earlier videos about automobile ownership, you know what I'm talking about. It's a really bad deal. So net, don't sign automobile leases. Let's talk about another thing. Cell phones, smartphones, whatever you want to call them. I am totally out of the signing contracts for cell phones. As a matter of fact, to take it a step further, I haven't had a cell phone contract by choice for 10 years. In other words, what am I doing for a cell phone? What you can do for a cell phone is get a prepaid service. In other words, you pay the money up front. Now, I understand that for many of you, well, I'm with T-Mobile, and if I go with somebody else, the service is bad in my area. Or if I'm on Verizon because everybody else sucks at my house or whatever. I get it. But cell phone carriers have what are called MVNOs. MVNOs. Effectively, what they're doing is they are companies that are buying in bulk from the cell phone carriers and reselling it to you at a discount. So I'm just going to give you a couple examples. You're going to do your own research, but I'm telling you for a fact, I've done this for years. Specifically, you can look at some MVOs like Simply Mobile. They do T-Mobile. You can look at Straight Talk. They do AT&T. You can look at Page Plus. They do Verizon. All these companies are putting you on the Verizon network, on the AT&T network, on the T-Mobile network. By the way, there is, Virgin does Sprint, by the way, for those of you who want Sprint. The point being is that you're getting exactly the same service, albeit you're paying upfront. You're paying prior to the service being activated. And furthermore, though, the big advantage is, number one, you're getting probably around about a 20 to 30% discount. But even more importantly, I think, you don't have a contract. This is purely month-to-month service. I highly recommend you do your own research on this, but I would definitely, unless you've got some oddball situation, some weird family plan that's incredibly unique to your situation, that you look at cell phone MVNOs. Look at some of those that I just mentioned. It's a great way to save money, and it gets you out of the I'm going to stay with them because, they're going to give me a free cell phone. I just spoke to a guy yesterday. Hey, I always get a new cell phone every year. Awesome. And I guess you're going to work till you're 70. That's cool, though. I mean, if that's how you want to spend your money, if that's your habits, that's great. I'm not interested in that. I don't know if you are. That's cool if you are. I'm giving this ideas, though, to people that want to retire early, that want financial independence. Let me finish by saying, We are building a MGTOW army of financially independent men. Men who do the work they want, if they want to at all, when they want, where they want, with whom they want. You get the idea. So this is about men having choices, greater choices that they do now. Share this channel with your friends, post it on forums, hit the subscribe button now and the like button if you found it useful. John Galt out.